You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Rapping with Dr. Jacqueline connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacqueline.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Hello and welcome to Rapping with Dr. Jacqueline presents A Better You, live here on Business Talk Radio and social media. I am your host and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. I am a certified life and career coach. Our show, A Better You, is all about lessons from the best coaches, consultants, and trusted advisors. And here with me today is one of my own coaches who is the best, Mariska, Preez, and she is coming to us from New Zealand. Hello and welcome, my friend.
Hello, Jacqueline. Thank you for having me today.
It is such a pleasure to have you. And as I've said before, but for anyone joining us for the first time, you were the inspiration. You were my coach who helped me formulate a plan with parts A, B, and C to retire from the corporate world and go out on my own. So I will always be grateful to you for that. Thank you.
I feel so privileged to have been on that journey with you.
It was quite a ride and we learned a lot, which is amazing. And I've always admired you and how you've built your business. And I consider you to be one of the best coaches. And so I'm thrilled that you're here with us today.
Thank you very much, and I hope to share some hopefully useful information and insight today with our listeners.
Wonderful. And what I want to share with people is what A Better You, the format of the program, what it is. So Mariska will have 15 minutes. We actually have a little timer, and she will present something of value to help train us, educate us, motivate us, enlighten us. And then afterwards, she and I will have a chat about it and also about the world of coaching and what's going on. So whenever you're ready, Mariska, I do want to let our audience know that we want to hear from them. So if they want to contact us, they certainly can do so by texting us. We have a new phone number, 609-961-1699, of course, if you're in the States, or you can comment through Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Twitch TV, and we will be happy to get back to you. So without further ado, my friend, I'm going to put the spotlight on you. Let me set the timer. Go back up here to the top of my board, and it's all you.
Voila. Wow. My 15 minutes of fame. All right. So to get into it, one of the things that I've been working on for myself, and I find that quite a few people, especially in the year that we've been going through last year in 2020 and, well, the start of 2021 being what it is, emotions can be quite a tricky thing to handle and something that comes up and we're not always too sure where we're at. A very, very useful tool that's been shared with me lately, I would like to also share with you guys, and then get into a little bit more of how to cultivate a way of being where we can just center ourselves a little bit more and appreciate what's going on around us instead of just being in a frenzy and running around a little bit like a chicken without a head. So I am hopefully going to do this right by sharing my screen, if I can get the right one. There you go. Jacqueline, can you guys see that?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. So this is the wheel of emotion. And when you look at it, you will notice that in the center, there's all the basic emotions. So it's a little bit like a color wheel. We have all the basic colors that the rest are made up of further on. So we will note that there's sadness and being mad and being joyful and being powerful and being peaceful. Just to name a few of them. Scared, of course, is also in there. And then as we normally when we're young, we express our emotions in one of those basic things. But as we grow older, they become a little bit more interesting, intertwined, and they vary in degree. So sometimes we might be elated instead of just saying, "Oh, I feel joyful." So it depends on what it is that we're feeling. And at times, and I do know that I sometimes do have a problem with this, is actually identifying what emotion it is that I'm feeling. I might feel that it's just today's just not going my way, and I'm feeling this but I can't name the So what I did find useful is going to this wheel and having on the a look on the wheel and seeing what emotion closely represents the that I'm feeling. And it might be that I would initially say, well, I'm mad, but actually I'm not really mad. I'm feeling frustrated. Or I might express it as anger, where it might not quite be anger, it might be frustration. So this wheel I found very, very useful to identify the feelings that's coming up. Being from an engineering background, emotions and being aware of the emotional aspect of life is not always the most intuitive thing that happens. For me as a person specifically, I am doing some studies on other engineers, and it seems like that is a common sort of denominator for us. And a way of identifying where we are and what it is that we're feeling helps us to work on it. So the next thing that I would like us to get into is gratitude. And the reason why I want to get into gratitude is one of those emotions where the more we cultivate it, that muscle actually helps us with other emotions. And it also helps us cultivating a more positive outlook in general around life, around what's happening, not necessarily being naive with what's happening, but at least seeing those silver linings around the dark clouds and finding out that life doesn't need to be just doom and gloom. So with gratitude, what I want to share with you guys is a couple of tips and tricks of how to cultivate it. So we're going to look at 2 exercises for cultivating gratitude. One of the exercises is interaction with other human beings. And then the other exercise is a link that we will establish that we can utilize when we want to bring up the feeling of gratitude. So the first one is thinking of your day, so the last about 24 hours. Think about a person that has contributed in some way or form to a positive experience that you had in your day. So they might have been part of the experience. They may have helped create the experience. They may have suggested something that caused an experience or a specific situation. Whatever the case might be, think of that person. And then next, think of specifically what you're thankful for towards that person. What specifically did they do? So it might be that a colleague popped around at your office and just came to check in and say, hey, how are you? Are you still coping? That might have just created the awareness of, oh, I've been running around a little bit like a crazy person. And it also has the benefit of you noticing that other people also looks after your well-being. So being very specific about what it is that you're thankful for, because what we want to do next is take action and tell the person. Now, I know we are in strange times, so we won't necessarily be able to tell them face-to-face, although face-to-face is the preferred method. There is a lot of science behind thanking people and being grateful to other people, where we start secreting all those feel-good hormones by thanking someone else. Now, these hormones are still secreted. Do not worry if you don't do this in person, as long as you do it. So you can pick up the phone, make a phone call. You might want to write them a text message. You might want to write them a wee little email, depending on what the message is that you want to put across, thanking them. So you want to take action, and you want to take action as soon as possible. The reason that the taking action is so important is when we identified what happened in our day, we see the positive thing. We then think about the specific thing the person contributed to, so we solidify that even more. And then as soon as we give that information and the thanking through to the other person and thanking that person for what they contributed to us, we release all those feel-good hormones. And we don't only do it for ourselves, we also do it for the other person that is receiving the thank you. So you're having a mutually beneficial experience. If we take a bit longer to do this, of course, the whole process gets a little bit watered down, and the effect isn't as great. So try to do this for a start, hopefully once a week, making it part of a routine. And you will start seeing that not only do you feel better, but we also start collaborating in a different way with other people around us. The other exercise that I would like you guys to do, and this is depending on whether you're in a safe spot to be closing your eyes or not. Preferably with closed eyes, it works a little bit better. It's just a little bit easier. What I would like you guys to do is close your eyes, and then from that closed eyes, I want you to use the sense that best works for you to create a calmness within yourself. So this might be concentrating on your breathing, taking a couple of breaths. This might be visualizing a space that you find calming, maybe sitting next to the seaside or in the mountains, somewhere where you are in nature and feeling peaceful. This might be hearing sounds, maybe hearing sounds in your mind where you are next to water or you're hearing bird song. Whatever thing it is that gets you into a peaceful state. The next, what I want you to do is to think of a situation or time or thing that makes you feel really, really grateful. And I want you to feel that gratefulness really intensely. Also notice while you're feeling this gratefulness, where it shows up in your body. So is it showing in your sort of heart area? Is it showing up more towards your tummy? Is it showing up in your head? Might be showing up in your throat area. So wherever this gratitude is showing up, I want you to feel it in your body, and then I want you to intensify it. you to make it as much and as powerful as you can possibly make it. So it's really, really big and all-consuming, this feeling of absolute gratitude. Once you have that, what I want you to do next is take your right hand forefinger and place it inside your left hand palm with only a very, very slight pressure. While you're doing this, really feel this feeling of gratitude. It's showing up in your body, as well as just enhancing that feeling of gratitude. And then when you have it at its peak, you can let your finger go from your palm and you can open your eyes. Now, one of the fun things about this exercise is even with your eyes open, you can now test how well you have linked your feeling of gratitude to this gesture. So what you do is you can keep your eyes open and you can just take your forefinger and put it in your palm at the same spot that you had it before with the exact same pressure you had it before. And when you're doing that, feel how much of that gratitude is coming back and where it's sitting. And with this exercise, it's a wee little bit like a muscle. So the more you do that, the more you take your finger and put it in your palm with that same point, same pressure that you had before, the more readily you will be able to bring back that feeling of gratitude that we created in the exercise that we just did. So with that, hopefully, between the wheel that we have for our emotions, where we can identify them, and the two fun exercises that we can do for gratitude and experiencing more gratitude in our life, I hope that you guys enjoyed the session.
Excellent. And I was clapping on mute, I think. And guess what? You went right to the second, 15 minutes, perfectly timed. I love that. True consummate professional. So just some feedback. I love the use of the wheel with the colors. I immediately found myself drawn to the brown, which was negative, right? And I saw some of those words and I thought, oh, no. I don't want to look at those words. I want to look at it's just interesting that I went to brown. So maybe that's a sign of working too much today. I don't know.
Might be where your state of being is at the moment. And that's a good awareness to have, right?
Absolutely, because not every moment's going to be powerful or joyful. It's a journey. But I wrote down here gratitude, action, and each week.
Mm-hmm.
So for people listening and people watching, I know you and I practice gratitude, and it's a daily thing. It's so important. How does somebody start the practice of gratitude? You had us work through a couple of exercises. So when you're sitting here right now, how does somebody start the practice of gratitude?
Well, with gratitude, it is a little bit about rewiring our brain to see the things around us that we normally take for granted. And there's a couple of different ways to start practicing gratitude. One of the ways that we can use to, when we have never done any gratitude exercises before whatsoever, and we're very new to it, we don't even know exactly how it works, possibly the easiest way to go about it is in the morning when you wake up, or in the evening just before you go to bed. So linking it to a routine that you have. So either waking up or going to bed. Think of 5 things that you are grateful for. Now, this can be any 5 things. And if you initially you think, oh, there's absolutely nothing I can be grateful for, right? Then be grateful for the fact that you are breathing. You are alive. You are on this planet and you are living, right? So the breath that you take, be grateful for the breath that you can take. If it is in the morning, be grateful for the sun that's shining. Be grateful for the fact that you had a, hopefully, good night's sleep. And if you didn't have a good night's sleep, that at least you were situated on a bed that you could get some sleep. So there is always a thing, and it doesn't have to be a big thing to be grateful for. It can be something very, very small. Try to think of 5. For most people, they can think of 3 fairly easily. And then the other 2 starts being a little bit more tricky. Now, when we get to the tricky ones, that's actually where we start growing our brain and growing this muscle to exercise it, right? So we want it to be a little bit tricky. So think of 5 things, and then each morning, think of 5 different things. So if yesterday I said, okay, I'm grateful for my breath, and I'm grateful for the sun shining, and I'm grateful for the fact that I have clothing to wear, and I'm grateful because I could brush my teeth and they feel fresh, and I am grateful because I had warm blankets that would cover me at night while I was sleeping. The next day, I'm not going to use any of those. I need to think of 5 new ones, right? So that also helps us to grow this muscle. It's an easy exercise to do. It does take a little bit of time, especially when you're new to the practice. You will find that it's a little bit tricky. Don't beat yourself up on it. It's a muscle that needs growing. It is a practice that the more we do it, the easier it becomes to do. So just keep at it. That is all that's required. Just keep with it. If you can only think of 3 that day and you felt that that was really, really like hard work to think of those 3, then stick with the 3. Try for 5. If you don't get to the 5, that's okay too. So that would be, I think, one of the ways that I would suggest, if you're very new to the practice, how you can get into it.
I really like what you shared there, the fact that it's a rewiring of the brain. It's basically taking a pattern of behavior in your life. If you're always looking for the next thing, if you're somewhat depressed, if you're anxious, you still have things to be grateful for. And even you mentioned brushing your teeth, right? There's some people around the world, they're not able to brush their teeth. People don't have a bed to sleep in. So I think what you really hit on there is it's forming a new pattern of behavior. So every day you're going to have gratitude time. And I know myself from practicing this, it starts to change your life very quickly. Instead of looking at the negatives, you're looking at the positives.
Yes, it makes a very, very big difference in just the way that we experience life. And really, I mean, what is life other than our experience of it?
Exactly
and
right.
I don't know about you, but I like to enjoy it. So I would rather have fun than not.
For sure. And, we're going to take a commercial break and we're going to hear from somebody who's an expert in how to network. Her name is Ashley Owens. Take a look at her clip. We'll be right back on Rapping with Dr. Jacqueline presents A Better You with Mariska Preez. Stay with us.
Networking sucks and people suck at it, but nothing gives me more life than walking around and talking to people in an audience and really being able to identify, okay, I see where you're having trouble, let's work on fixing it. How do you help them? How do you provide value? My goal is to give them those tools to be able to go out and tackle that fear. Anywhere there's coffee is where I'll be. So I bring candy a lot to my speaking engagements. Duh. Like, of course that makes sense. I'm a little unconventional.
Ashley was very knowledgeable.
Very entertaining.
I learned a few new things, and to me that's the key.
What do you want them to say? How do you want to be perceived? You're going to get the most direct, tactical tips and practical takeaways when it comes to networking. These two here are super important. You'll remember once the conversation starts.
I love the tips that she gave out. I hate networking with a passion, so I feel like I can go to a meeting or event and not feel so uncomfortable.
When you're going to a presentation, you want to be educated. You also want to be entertained.
She was really fun and really personable, and everything she was saying was just very relatable.
She's got a lot of great ideas.
That will make you stand out so fast.
She comes across as someone that likes what they do and just doesn't try to sell you something.
Activity breeds results. If you're not doing anything, you're not going anywhere.
Just made me want to start networking, which I never thought I'd say before.
A networking strategy that works for you.
Meet the modern learner. Like most of us, the modern learner is short on time, on the go, and wants to learn on their terms and device of choice. The key is to meet them whenever and wherever they may be. The solution? Best-in-class content served up by the Engagement mobile learning platform, where the modern learner is at the center of the learning experience. For example, they can receive a text message that alerts them to a new learning module. They simply tap, watch, read and engage, or play a fun learning game. We transform your content into modules that are timely, accurate, academically rigorous, yet engaging and robust. Personality motivators are blended with modern adult learning principles to make it faster and more natural to absorb the content and have fun while learning. Our cutting-edge platform offers something for everyone. It can be an immersive experience where learners explore and engage based on what's relevant to them in that moment, or they can follow a set curriculum, earning badges and tracking points toward a credit or goal, or they can dive deeper into high-value professional content relating to their topic of interest. It's binge learning at its best. All this, along with an entire portfolio of real-time, usable data and KPIs for stakeholders. Imagine, share up-to-the-minute news, enhance current curriculum, build knowledge banks, drive sales, and foster community in the push of a button. To learn more or see a demo, please contact support@engagement.com.
My stomach issues make me want to stay home, but that's not an option. No matter how prepared I am, I still feel nervous. Enough is enough.
If this sounds familiar, the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation can offer you support and connect you with a specialist.
Don't keep your symptoms to yourself. Get help at spillyourguts.org today.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Hi, welcome back to Rapping with Dr. Jacqueline presents A Better You, live here on Business Talk Radio and social media. We heard a lesson from the best life coach, Mariska, who joins us from New Zealand. Mariska, talk to us a little bit about your business and how people can engage with you to hire you and to take your workshops.
So for my business, it's called Journey to Discover, seeing as we are all on that journey to discover. They can engage with me at my email address, which is mariska@journeytodiscover.com. So the Journey to Discover has a 2, the number in it, for the email address. And then I'm also presenting a workshop with one of my coaching colleagues, Kira, The intake for January, unfortunately, has closed. So,
yay. Yay on that.
Yeah. It's unfortunate for listeners at the moment. But we do have about 4 intakes each year. So the next one will be around April again. Getting a little bit closer to the time, I will definitely let everybody know that it is open for enrollment, which is a very, very fun workshop. It's called Passion to Financial Freedom. And what we look at is how we can take our passions that we have as a person personally and create or utilize it within our work environment to get something that is sustainable for us. It is a really, really fun workshop, and we always have loads of fun with all the participants that takes part in it.
I love it. That's terrific. And as I mentioned at the top of our show, for those who weren't tuned in yet, Mariska is my coach, and she helped me over the course of our working together come up with a plan so that I could retire from my corporate job. There was a lot of decisions to consider, paycheck, benefits, going out and doing something on your own. And to use a word that I hear quite often it was scary, right? It was scary to make that change. But once you come up with a plan and you work with a coach like Mariska, then there is no more being scared or scary because you have laid out a plan, which is then empowering.
I've worked with quite a few clients that went through that transition. And I have to say, I love transition work because you are going from one area of doing something in your life to another. And yes, it comes up. Scariness does come up quite a bit. And there's also, I think, a little bit of excitement because we don't know what's going to happen. It's new, it's something different. So there's all those emotions in there, and it's really a lot of fun to work through what it is that we want to create and starting to actually implement that and living a life on purpose. That's just wonderful.
It's invigorating. And when you do have a plan and you do work with a coach, things are going to come up, right? Things that you didn't anticipate, but you refer back to your plan. You talk it out with your coach, and once again, you're re-energized to just keep moving forward. Mariska, for our friends on Business Talk Radio, can you please share again your contact information?
Contact information, you guys can get hold of me via email, mariska@journeytodiscover.com.
Excellent. Thank you for that. And I also want to share with our audience what's coming up next, because I'm sure, Mariska, you'll be a part of it. We're going to take your presentation and we're going to edit it so it's just you, and out of the show we'll just take your presentation, and then we're going to put it up on our training platform, A Better You University. And so other content that you have, your workshops, your courses that you've written, will house that material on A Better You University, and then our audience can purchase that. They can download all of the course content that you and others, the best coaches, consultants, and trusted advisors, will have on that platform. So we're really looking forward to rolling that out very soon.
That is very, very exciting.
Yes, it's very exciting. It's all coming to fruition. So I'm glad that you're here when I make that announcement, because you've watched me come full circle and now you know where we're going.
Oh, Jacqueline, you just inspire me so much personally too, seeing all the things that you accomplish, and normally in such a short time. It is really inspiring.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It hasn't been easy, but it is just so exciting. And so I say to any of you who are out there, whatever your dream is, go for it. And maybe you don't even know what your dream is. Work with a coach, because a coach sees things around the corner that you might not see. And try to spend your time with people who are already where you want to go. Find a mentor who can really help facilitate you, to let you know what potential roadblocks you might uncover and how you would deal with that. But just don't do it alone, and don't stay stuck doing something that you don't want to do, because the only thing we have is time. And Mariska, I think you're familiar with Clubhouse.
No, I'm not actually.
The app Clubhouse. Well, it's kind of cool, and I'm not a sponsor, but I tuned into Clubhouse today, and they have something called the Millionaire Breakfast at the Millionaire Table, or something like that. And there are people who make 6, 7, 8, 9 figures a year, and you get a seat at the table. You get to listen to what it is they have to say, and you get to raise your hand and potentially be brought up on stage. So what I heard today over and over again was about time and how valuable our time is. And if we spend our time being busy, everyone can say, oh, what'd you do today? Oh, I was really busy. I ran here, I did that, I cleaned this, I cleaned that. How productive are you being? How much joy and passion are you finding in your life? So take that time and find your passion. Work with a coach, find a mentor. Just go for it.
I absolutely agree. That links in very well with our attention. And I think with working with a coach, that is one thing that really comes up a lot for clients, is where we pay our attention. And it's really a resource. It is what we do with our time, utilizing it, paying attention to something. So we're investing our intention in a time period on something specific. And just being busy, what is it really giving you other than wasting time and you investing in something that you will never really benefit from? So very, very true that.
Very well said, my friend. Well, it's the end of our show, and I'm so glad you were here today. And I know you're going to be coming back soon. So I look forward to the next lesson that you have to share with us. Any final words for our audience?
Well, go out and exercise that gratitude muscle. You guys will definitely find that it would make the world a difference.
Very nice. Thank you again for being here, and I will see you backstage in just a minute.
Thank you for having me, Jacqueline.
And to our audience, I say this after every show, thank you so much for your loyalty. Thank you for tuning in. Even if you're just dropping in to see what it is we're doing, please go to our website, drjacqueline.com, where you can book your own session. We have 11 shows this week, which is really exciting. And we've got one coming up at 5:30. It's I Have a Story to Tell. And tonight's guest is John Wilson, who will be joining us from Virginia area. And he is going to share with us his journey of practicing yoga and becoming a certified instructor and how it has really changed his life. So he went for it. He decided to do something that was completely not on his radar, not on his plan. In fact, he'll share with us how he felt about yoga, but he went for it, he did it, and he's going to be here today at 5:30. So join us then. Until then, and the next time, and the next time, and the next time, please take care of yourself. Please keep tuning in. Please book your session, and thank you again. We'll see you shortly.